Aubrey.
Thank you. 5 years. Can you believe it?
5 years. Guys, if you can just scroll up far enough back in the feed to 5 years ago, Aubrey's very first IELTS Energy episode was IELTS Energy 786, all about Aubrey, your next IELTS master. And we released that October 21st, 2019. So this week, yes, is your 5-year anniversary.
I know. I've learned so much about IELTS in this 5 years. I've met so many amazing students. It's exciting to be celebrating a 5-year anniversary.
It
Yeah, it's
is.
fun. Feels good.
So guys, Aubrey's going to share with you 3 top takeaways from grading hundreds of speaking exams at this point. And then, guys, she's going to do a sample part 2 answer about a party she would like to give for this very anniversary. So we have a jam-packed Aubrey episode for you guys today, and I'm excited. All right, so let's get to it. Aubrey, what are in your opinion, you have listened to hundreds of students doing mock speaking tests for IELTS and given them feedback, scores, help them increase their speaking scores to a 7 or higher that so many need. What would you say are like the top 3 things that you have found people need to increase their
Yeah.
scores?
So I thought about this, and the first thing I want to share is the need for a variety of vocabulary. So we talk about this a lot on the podcast, but I think it's really difficult for students as you're doing, your IELTS speaking test. There's so many different things that you're thinking about. You're thinking about your grammar,
Yeah.
your vocabulary. There's just so many things to keep track of, and this is one thing that I think students sometimes let slip. And it's not something you can just know and then go on test day and be able to do. You have to practice this in advance, answering speaking questions, adding slang and idioms and phrasal verbs with more informal vocabulary to those part 1 answers, and then more impressive, more formal, less common vocabulary to those part 3 answers that are quite a bit more formal. This takes practice, and often I'll do a speaking test, and that's what I'm really seeing lacking.
Yeah.
Just a lot of band 6 vocabulary, not a ton of
Yeah.
slang and informal, and not a lot of impressive topic specific vocabulary. So that's tricky.
100%. I would say, like, really a majority of students get a 6 for vocab, right? This is the part that takes the most preparation, right? Like Aubrey said, you can't just memorize lists of idioms and then another list of academic vocabulary, right? Memorizing lists doesn't work, first of
Right.
all. And second of all, you need a range to get a 7 or higher, right? You need to have that natural, native, relaxed, slangy sort of vibe in part 1. And in part 3, you need to switch up that vibe and you need to talk like a textbook, So very different word groups, and you really have to prepare for that range of vocab. Okay, what is the second thing, Aubrey?
Yeah. The second is your fluency score. So, a lot of students, especially if you haven't practiced answering a lot of IELTS speaking questions, there
Mhm.
will be pauses and hesitations, both when you first begin an answer and you need to think a few seconds about how you want to answer. And then
Yeah.
again, when you're trying to think of vocabulary or maybe trying to think of more details, there are just these pauses. And so, a big thing that we teach students, a way to avoid this, is first of all, learning filler phrases so that you have something to say while you're thinking of your answer, and then narrating your thoughts. If you're having a hard time coming up with a word, say that. Oh, what's the word
Yeah.
it means? And say what it means or
Yeah.
paraphrase it. You can't just have these awkward silences. You need strategies in order to boost your fluency score and avoid those pauses.
Yeah, because here's the thing, guys. Even native speakers use filler phrases all the time. It is natural, right? It is the nature of spontaneous speaking. We don't just directly like give an answer immediately, right? That's not natural. So it not only helps your fluency score because it helps you sound more natural, it avoids pauses, but it also helps your vocabulary score because the way that we introduce answers, the way that we fill time while we're thinking, the way that we narrate thoughts. This uses interesting native vocabulary, right?
Right.
So, like, for example, if a part one question is like, when's the last time you went to an art museum? You can be like, oh gosh, I'm racking my brain. That's how long it's been. I'd say, I don't know, 6 years. So it's like I'm racking my brain, like I'm trying to find the answer you're looking for.
Yeah, and as you're using that filler phrase because you've practiced it, it's actually full of interesting vocabulary as well. You're boosting
Yeah,
vocab scores and fluency scores, all while you're just sort of filling time as you try to think of your answer.
exactly, exactly. All right. So part number three, I was at part three.
Part three.
Number three tip, Aubrey.
Yeah. Okay. So the number three thing is students often don't have a really good understanding of the scoring system
Yeah,
before they take a practice test or go on test day.
yeah.
And one thing I've noticed when students don't really understand the scoring system is they don't realize the part that intonation plays on in their pronunciation score. So you
Yeah.
may really be thinking about word stress and individual phonemes and making sure you're enunciating clearly
Right.
all while you're speaking with a monotone. And you're
Totally.
saying, I was so excited when I went to that, but you don't sound excited, right? Your
Yeah,
pronunciation score is also dependent on interesting, varied intonation. So you need to be
totally.
expressive. You need to show emotion. You need the tone of your voice needs to match what you are saying. And especially in part three, if you're talking about fun, exciting things, you should sound excited. You should sound like you thought it was fun.
Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you how many times students have such great vocab scores, great grammar scores, even. But then the fluency and the pronunciation scores are sixes because
Right.
of these things that we're telling you right now, right? So there's a lot of students out there that have studied hard enough and practiced enough to like really deserve a seven or higher, but it's these little fluency things and pronunciation things that hold you back at a six.
Yeah. So the easiest tip here to get that intonation is to add more descriptive language, adjectives, and adverbs that you can then emphasize. So instead of saying it was really fun, you could say it was super amazing. We had a blast. And you have this
Yeah.
interesting vocabulary, these details that you can vary your intonation on to add that expressiveness and that emotion.
All right. Now, Aubrey is going to answer a part two question. And this is a tricky one, guys. So, the question is this is a common IELTS part two question. Describe a party you would like to give. I've seen students get this question on the test and describe a party they went to last week or a birthday they had a couple years ago. That is not what the question is asking, right? Would like to give means this is a party that you want to have in the future. It is totally imaginary, you guys, like, which means, God, you have all the freedom in the world. You could you
Make it
could
up.
literally,
Yes.
like, describe, "I wanna fly all of my friends to Greece," and, like, you can do anything. So I love this question for that reason. Okay, so I'm gonna get my timer ready, and Aubrey's gonna tell us about an amazing anniversary party that she's
Yes.
gonna throw.
I'm going to
All
throw
right.
my 5-year anniversary party.
Okay, here we go. Aubrey, I would like you to describe a party you would like to give.
Oh, I love this. I would spare no expense if I could give the ideal party. It would be to celebrate my 5-year anniversary at All Ears English. And believe it or not, I have never met any of my coworkers in person. So we would all fly somewhere very fun that none of us have been, maybe New Zealand. And then we would get a lavish hotel, 5-star, 6-star, does that exist? And best food, everything would be catered, or we'd go to really fun hole in the wall restaurants. We would just want to try all of the local fare. And it would just be fun to be there with coworkers that I haven't had a chance to see in person. Lindsay, Michelle, Jessica, Jandy, everyone we work with would come, and we would not only eat and hang out by maybe there's a pool, we would do hikes. Everyone has to come to the hike. I don't care if you're not a hiker. This is part of the party. We're all going to be enjoying nature, enjoying these beautiful, because if I imagine New Zealand, I want to be out trekking in the wilderness. But we would also go dancing. We would like find a fun bar, karaoke We would do karaoke. I would want to do all the things. And I think it'd be fun to see who's up for what and who's a hard pass. I really want to see Lindsay karaoke. I could imagine she'd be awesome. I want to know the tunes everyone picks for their karaoke jam. And I want to see everyone dancing. I feel like I've been to parties in the past where there are the people who just kind of stand off to the side and are not having it when you expect everyone to dance. And then there's people who really get down, and I want to know who's who. And when you're just working day to day with people, you don't learn these things about someone. So I would plan my party would be a whole week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month, right? If I can really imagine what would be fun, let's make it longer. Let's be there a while.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm really
Oh
going all
my
out.
god. Oh, sign me up.
Yeah.
This sounds amazing. Okay, guys,
It's
holy
really
moly.
vacation. My party is a
I
month long
know.
vacation.
This is what okay, this is what I love. I love so many things about this, but there was like partway through the answer when you started talking about hiking to my like examiner mind, I was like, "Wait a minute, are we describing a party?" But like immediately you're like, "This is part of the party." And I'm like, "Okay, back
Good.
on board, examiner
Nice.
mind." All right, so I want to point out some fantastic vocabulary that Aubrey used just completely spontaneously off the cuff here. Spare no expense means that like I'm going to spend all the money on this. And lavish hotel. So lavish is like expensive and fancy. Hole in the wall restaurant. A hole in the wall is like a little local cheap hidden place. We often say like hole in the wall bar, hole in the wall restaurant, local fare instead of local food. A hard pass is like would be a hard pass. I am a hard pass. It means I am saying no, definitely not to this. And then karaoke jam is like, everybody's singing and getting funky to the music. It's a jam.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny.
I
As
love
I
it.
answered, I'm like, I'm really described, but that's the party I want, right? If we're gonna
I
celebrate my
know.
anniversary, it's not gonna be 1 hour. It's not gonna be a party that's 1 hour. This is gonna be there's some time involved.
I mean, and this is the life philosophy that I want everybody to have is that like, and really, I get this from my mom. I have my mom to thank for this. There is always a reason to celebrate. That is golden rule number one. You can always find a reason to celebrate. If I see my mom and I haven't seen her in a while, she'll make a Thanksgiving dinner in
Oh,
July, just for fun. And
we haven't seen
you know what?
each other in a while. It's time to party.
Totally. Break out the wine and the turkey. Like I am
Nice.
on board. And also here's the second golden rule, guys. When you do have a reason to celebrate, make it last. Like Aubrey's answer, a party. No, it's a month of
Yes.
vacation. And that's what I do for my birthday. And I think you do this too, right? It's like you have a
Absolutely.
free pass for a month to do whatever you
It's my
want. It
birthday
is your
month.
birthday month. Yes. Okay, guys. So just to bring it back to IELTS, I want to summarize Aubrey's top 3 tips from the beginning, guys. So write this stuff down. Top 3 tips for getting that 7 or higher on the speaking exam. Prepare your range of vocabulary from informal to formal academic. Learn and use natural filler phrases for improved fluency and vocab scores. And third, gotta practice that range of intonation and expression. All right, Aubrey, I am so thankful to you for doing this show with me for 5 years, for being my coworker. And even though we've never met in person, I feel like we have. Like, I feel like I know you really
True.
well. And I know all of our listeners do too,
Aw.
because you're amazing. And we're all very thankful for you.
Thanks, guys. I cannot believe it's been 5 years. It's gone by in a blink. And yeah, I love
Right.
all of you out there. Thank you for all of the reviews you've given us over the years. If you haven't, leave us a review. We read them. We love them.
Yeah.
That is how you can thank us. And yeah, thanks for an amazing 5 years. And here's to another 5 more. Raise a
Yeah.
glass.
And I was gonna say it sounds like a goodbye. It's not a goodbye,
Not a
guys. We're
goodbye.
still
Here's to
we're
5 more
still
years.
there we go. All right, guys. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. See you Monday.
Bye.
Bye.